Welcome Prince Institute. The Hindu editorial, 16th May 2020. Ready? Start. As tens of thousands of people move across states, many of them migrant workers and their families traveling as unorganized groups, the center finds itself facing a fresh front in the campaign to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. While it was possible to shut down optional public activity and travel early on during the lockdown, those who were stranded within the country and abroad have started returning home. Only some are traveling by trains and aircraft, and the system of quarantine in the states is not uniform. The center, as the lockdown regular, now has the important task of creating a consensus with the states on the quarantine modalities. Confusion surrounding quarantine for passengers who took the first relief trains from New Delhi to various cities, leading to some of them returning to the national capital, underscores the need for agreement. The response so far has been flat-footed in several states. Train passengers arriving in Bengaluru protested that they received no advance notice of institutional quarantine, although they were given an option to stay in hotels for 14 days, incurring considerable expenditure. Laborers compulsorily quarantined in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar escaped from the facilities after complaining of bad conditions. In Kerala, the center insists on a 14-day institutional quarantine for those arriving by air, rejecting the state's proposal for 7 days in a public facility and another 7 at home. Train passengers were given a home quarantine option. Such a lack of certitude, even as the extended lockdown is set to expire, reflects failure at building consensus. With further easing of the lockdown, if not full withdrawal, many more will want to move within and between states by rail and road, besides those returning from abroad. All states have to prepare for this by agreeing on the period of quarantine and provide as a baseline decent and free official accommodation to anyone who wants it. There could be options including hotels and private accommodation at non-exploitative tariffs. Such a stratified approach is inevitable considering that many travelers from areas with high transmission have been testing positive. For thousands of workers moving in groups by road across states, there is both the risk of infection and transmission. This is a daunting scenario as India has crossed 85,000 cases of COVID-19 and showing the spread depends vitally on joint action. It must be pointed out that the Health Ministry, in its update advice issued on May 10, approved home isolation for even patients with the virus if they are deemed to be very mild to pre-symptomatic cases. This indicates a recognition of both the growing cases load, the rising pressure on public facilities, and the limited scope for rapid quarantine. Yet, institutional capacity will have to be ramped up in the coming weeks as part of a cohesive policy. Stop.